Every bill starts with a 60-second opening statement. This is the first time that the people in your committee are hearing about what your bill does, so you want to use that time wisely. You have limited time, so make every second count. A strong opening statement will explain the problem and explain how your bill will make an impact. Don't start off with, "My bill is on," or "I'd like to talk to you about." Use your time wisely and identify and explain the problem. Tell your audience about what's wrong with the current state of things, which is the reason your bill exists. By explaining that problem first, you can give your bill context and establish its importance. Next up, you'll want to identify your bill as the solution. You've already identified a problem, but now this problem needs to be solved. Explain how it solves your problem completely and as easily as possible. When you do this, you'll want to include a couple strong statistics or anecdotes. Show that you know what you're talking about, but any more than a handful and you risk overwhelming your audience. Stay focused on the problem and why your bill is the solution. After you're done giving your opening statement, yield any time to the chair. Immediately following your opening statement, we'll move into 60 seconds of non-debatable technical questions. These are questions that must be non-debatable and technical, which means you're not asking for the author's opinion, you're asking for a fact. And these questions must be able to be answered with a yes, no, or a statistic. The round of NDTQs is the time for your peers to ask clarifying questions on your bill, so come prepared with lots of research because it's going to show. Your closing statement will close the conversation on your bill, so it's important to address any confusion brought up during non-debatable technical questions. It's your last pitch effort to make sure the delegates in your committee understand what your bill is doing and why it's important. So always end your closing statement by urging the audience to rank your bill favorably. Every delegate at State Assembly will receive a placard with their last name printed on it. This is how you'll be identified when you want to be recognized to speak. When you want to be recognized, you should raise the placard above your head like this. Make sure your fingers are not covering your name, you're not holding it upside down or covering your face, but it's clearly above your head to where the chair can read your last name. Keep your placard raised until the chair calls on you. It's not a guarantee that they will, but if and when they do, you should lower your placard, stand up, state your name, delegation, seat number, which will be given to you at State Assembly, and state the purpose for why you rise. For example, if I wanted to speak in debate of a bill, I would raise my placard, wait for the chair to call on me, and once they do so, stand, say, "Delegate Williams, Sunshine State Delegation, seat number 23, I rise to speak in favor of this bill." Wait for the chair to tell you that you have the time, and then proceed with your debate. Following an author's closing statement, we'll move into the ranking process. It's important to note that we do not vote on bills in committee, we rank them on 4 criteria on a scale of 1 to 5. The 4 criteria are feasibility. Is your bill cost effective? Is it relevant? Debatability. How debatable is your bill? Can you see multiple sides of the issue? Importance to the state of Florida, so how important the bill is to the state and does it address relevant issues? And preparation of the author. How well researched is the author? Do they know their bill? You'll rank each of these criteria on a scale of 1 to 5. But here in Florida YIG, we use golf rules, so the lower the score, the better. An easy way to think about it is how many times you want to step on a Lego. 1 is better than 5. After each bill has been presented and ranked by the committee, the most favorably ranked bills will move on to second committee. Now that everyone's bill has been presented and ranked in first committee, we're ready to move on to second committee. Second committee is a larger group of delegates than the first, but not every bill will have made it this far in the process. Your bill might have died in first committee, and that's okay. It should not hinder your experience, and it's part of the process. You can still get involved in non-debatable technical questions, making debate points, and there are several other ways to make your voice heard. The structure of second committee is largely similar to that of first committee. For the bills that have made it this far in the process, you'll still have a 60-second opening statement to present your bill. Following that, you'll have 60 seconds of non-debatable technical questions, which we previously talked about. From there may be 45 seconds of executive testimonial for the bills that the executive program have chosen to sponsor. Every bill will not be sponsored, so it's important to listen when they have something to say. The main addition to second committee is debate. Second committee debate follows the structure of 60-second rounds of con, pro, con, with one speaker per round. Con debate is your opportunity to debate against the bill, and pro debate is your opportunity to debate in favor of the bill. If you're struggling with what to say in debate, you can always reference the 4 ranking criteria: debatability, feasibility, importance to the state of Florida, and preparation of the author. But remember, we always debate ideas, not people. It is never okay to reference an individual like the bill author or any other delegate. Instead, you should discuss their policy and their bill idea. And remember, when you wish to speak in debate, you must raise your placard above your head. Following debate, the author will have 60 seconds plus any time yielded from their opening statement to close on the bill. This is the time to refute any con arguments made in debate and to make a final ask that the committee rank your bill low. When ranking, we follow the same procedure as first committee. 1 is the best, 5 is the worst. Now that you've made it through second committee, we're ready to begin chambers. Chambers are the last legislative stop a bill goes through, with the most amount of delegates, the longest amount of times, and the most speakers per rounds of debate, so you have plenty opportunity to make your voice heard. Just like bills died going from first committee to second committee, more bills will die in the process of second committee to chambers. If your bill made it to the chamber docket, congratulations, but if it didn't, do not let this hinder your experience. You have plenty of time to speak up, debate, and make your voice heard. It is important to note that every bill on the chamber docket will not have time to be heard. The structure of chambers is similar to that of second committee, except you have longer amounts of speaking time. Each bill presentation will start out with an author's 3-minute opening statement. You can use the same opening statement as before, but you have longer amounts of time for statistics, anecdotes, and to convince the delegates in your chamber why your bill should be passed. If you have any leftover time, you can yield it to your closing statement by telling the chair, "I yield any time to my closing statement." Following opening statements, there will be 3 minutes for non-debatable technical questions. Following NDTQs, it's time for debate. The debate structure in chambers is con, pro, con, pro, con, with 3 minutes per each round and multiple speakers allowed for each round. If you stand to debate and there's still leftover time in that round, you may yield that time to a like-minded speaker. You can do so by telling the chair, "I yield my time to a like-minded speaker." However, you must remain standing until the chair has called on that speaker and they have accepted the yield of time. They'll do this by standing, stating their spiel, and telling the chair, "I accept the yield of time." At that point, you can sit down. Sitting down prematurely will immediately end that round of debate. Once debate has concluded, we'll have the opportunity to hear any amendments that have been filed on the bill. An amendment is a change made to a specific portion of the bill in hopes of making that bill better. Amendments must be written and filed in between the first round of pro debate and the last round of pro debate. When you've written your amendment, you must give it to the clerk, and any germane amendments that have been filed will be presented after debate. After any amendments have been presented, the author will have 3 minutes plus any yielded time from their opening to close on their bill. This is the last time the author will have to address the chamber before voting on final passage for their bill. Following the debate presentation, it's time for the chamber to vote on final passage of the bill. The chair will ask everyone to stand and say yay in support or nay in opposition. If the bill has enough support to pass, it will move forward to the other chamber. So if you're in the House, the bill will move to the Senate, and vice versa. This process will repeat itself in the other chamber until the bill has either passed or failed. It's important to note that once your bill moves to the other chamber, you are not allowed to step foot in the other chamber. So members of the House are not allowed to go into the Senate, and members of the Senate are not allowed to go into the House. This means that you must find a co-sponsor in the opposite chamber to present your bill for you. It's recommended that you come to State Assembly with a co-sponsor in mind, but if not, there will be legislative whips and other delegates who are more than willing to help you. If your bill passes through the opposing chamber, it is then sent to the Executive Cabinet. So let's take a step back. The entire process that your bill will go through is drafting the bill, first committee, second committee, chamber, the opposing chamber, and then the Executive Cabinet. It is important to note that very few bills make it through this entire process, but it is not about whether your bill is passed, failed, vetoed, or signed into law. It is about making your voice heard.